Let's be honest, being broke absolutely sucks. If we haven't met before, my name is Fred, and just over 4 years ago, I only had around $400 to my name. I knew I wanted to get rich, but I just didn't know how. I also had severe social anxiety, to the point I couldn't even leave my parents' house for months. Fast forward to today, I've been able to generate upwards of $1,094 a day at only 21 years old, selling services and digital products online. And I also overcame my social anxiety, which allowed me to go from 0 to 36.7 million views on social media in only 6 months. So my goal with this video is to lay out a step-by-step action plan so that you can finally get the financial freedom that you deserve. The first reason why you're still broke is because you consume more than you create. I want you to remember this quote: consumers spend money, producers make money. The reason why most people don't make as much money as they would like to is because they spend most of their time consuming. They spend most of their free time entertaining themselves, watching Netflix, playing video games, ordering takeout, going out with friends. And while there's absolutely nothing wrong with any of these activities, in fact, I love a good movie from time to time, these activities don't put money in your pocket. They take money out of it. The truth is, we're all consumers. We eat food, we wear clothes, we buy iPhones, we watch social media content, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with any of these things. But when people want to make more money, they don't realize they need to shift from being simply consumers to being producers. It's not the person who watches content that makes the money. It's the one who creates it. It's not the person who reads the book that makes the money. It's the person who wrote it. In the internet age, creating has never been easier. Just a few decades ago, if you wanted to shift from solely being a consumer to being a producer in order to become wealthy, it came with a lot of financial risk and a lot of costs. You had to find a way to come up with enough money to open up a brick-and-mortar shop. And then you had to devise a clever strategy to make that business into a success, which was far from easy to do. The reason why I only had $400 to my name over 4 years ago is because I was a consumer, not a producer. Now mind you, at the time, I was dealing with many personal issues, and while I was working on a few side hustles, I wasn't actually committed enough to one business model, and for a while, that prevented me from seeing the success I wanted. Now you may be wondering, okay, but what do I need to produce then? Which leads me to the next step, working on the right opportunity. You see, I started my first couple businesses when I was around 11 years old. I started by selling candies in the neighborhood and at school. That didn't go so well, even though I ended up making $17 an hour, but it didn't last long. The effort to reward ratio simply wasn't worth it. Then, as I was about to turn 12, I discovered the world of online business. I realized this was an insane opportunity. We had never seen anything like it in the entire history of the world. So of course, I decided to start my own online business. Back when Instagram team pages were going crazy viral, I decided to start growing my own and to sell shoutouts and ebooks. Now, to tell you the truth, I ended up making $0 and quitting that business after just a few months. Why, you may ask? Because an algorithm change made it more difficult to grow followers organically on Instagram at the time. So I felt pretty discouraged, but I didn't quit on my goal, which was to become extremely wealthy. Now, shortly after, dropshipping with AliExpress and Wish becomes pretty popular online. Everybody and their mother is making videos about it on YouTube. It's advertised as the best business model for beginners. So at the time, my best friend and I were intrigued, so we decided to give it a try. After all, what did we have to lose? We were already broke. So my friend at the time ended up buying a 2.5k dropshipping course and asked me if I wanted to work on him with him. And of course I agreed. That course was teaching us the winning product method. We had to find a trendy product, build a whole Shopify store around it, and launch Facebook ads to get traffic on our product page. So we do everything we're told. We start spying on the competition to find a trendy product to sell. We build an entire Shopify store. And then we make some creatives for Facebook ads and we launch our first ever ad campaign. Now mind you, at the time, it's not like we had any experience in paid advertising. We had no clue what we were doing. But only 30 minutes after launching the ad campaign, we got our first sale. I couldn't believe it. That was a crazy moment for my friend and I. We had just made $50 selling a flat squeeze mop. I can tell you that in that instant, my entire life changed, not because of the money itself, but because I realized you could actually make money online. Before that, I had only ever seen successful guys online saying it was possible, but I had never personally experienced it myself. So even though I believed in it consciously, I had never felt it. The problem is, both my friend and I were broke. My friend had a part-time job and I was making no money because I was still a high school student. So neither of us could afford to keep losing more money on Facebook advertising. In the end, we lost $2,600 on a dropshipping course and Facebook ads. The problem with that course is that it was marketed towards beginners with no previous experience. And in that course, we were told that to get traffic onto our product page, to get customers, we needed to run Facebook ads. And as you can guess, that's not cheap. And when you're a beginner, you're just getting started in business, you are most likely going to make a lot of mistakes. But if on top of that you have to pay money every time you make that mistake, you can't really do it for long because you end up broke, you run out of money. So for a beginner, it makes more sense to use organic marketing, direct direct outreach, posting content to actually get customers, because at least if you make mistakes, you can go on for months not making any money, you still won't go bankrupt. Now imagine if you had to spend $100, $200 a day on ads for 7 months. At the end of it, you lost a lot of money if you failed. Now fast forward a couple years later, my friend and I decided to give dropshipping another try. But this time, we were going to do something different. Instead of losing all of our money to Facebook ads, we would try organic marketing. That way, we could get customers for completely free. We were leveraging influencers that would become our affiliates. We'd give them a special promo code that they could share with their followers. And every single time one of their followers would buy from us, the affiliate would receive a 10% commission. And that strategy actually worked. Within just a few days, we already had dozens of affiliates working for us and a few $100 in revenue. The problem is that a few years ago, I had severe shiny object syndrome. I was always looking at the competition and wanting to copy them because they seemed to be doing better than us. So for months, what I would do is close an e-com store I was working on to then reopen another. But I was never sticking to anything long enough to actually see results. That's madness. I think it's important to try ideas, and especially when you're just getting started. But you also have to try them for long enough. Stick to something for 6 months before you decide to give up or to move on to something else. Because until it's been 6 full months you've been working on something, you don't have enough data points to make a decision. So no wonder why I wasn't seeing any success back then. But also I wasn't working on the right opportunity, at least not for me. You see, in life, it doesn't matter how hard you work, it matters what you do. There are plenty of people from all over the world, they break their backs every single day, yet they're making pennies. So hard work by itself does not guarantee success. Hard work plus working on the right opportunity does. If you want to hear my full story, how I went from making $0 per month to making over $1,000 a day at only 21 years old, in the description I'll leave a link to a free video I've recorded. This video will show you the step-by-step process I used to make this happen, and I will also be sharing with you the 2 best paths to $5,000 or $10,000 per month in 2024 and beyond. Now the other thing that's keeping you broke is that not enough people know about you. What differentiates great businesses from struggling businesses? There are many different factors, but one of them is visibility. Think about this. Chances are no one knows you, your company, or what you do. Let's say you're selling video editing services to content creators. I can guarantee that if every content creator in the world knew about you and about your company, you would be so busy you'd have no time trying to look for new customers because they would all be coming to you. The first essential thing that you need is a good offer. It needs to resonate with your prospects. That's how you know if it's a good offer or a bad offer. But then you also need visibility, and that is what really takes you to the next level. How many people did you reach out to today? How many pieces of content did you post on social media in the last month? You need to do the actions that will give you more visibility if you actually want to thrive in this competitive landscape. Now the next reason why you're broke is because you still think like broke people. I personally grew up in a small French town, less than 10,000 people, in a low middle class family. It was a broken household. My mother worked a dangerous night job, and my father, to cope with the fact that he hated his job, his life in general, would often get drunk and resort to violence. The truth is, if my parents had known what wealthy people know, then they would have been far wealthier themselves. And let's be honest, school doesn't teach you to make money, it teaches you to go work for someone else. While I do agree that money is not everything, growing up, lack of money was one of the main reasons why life at home was so depressing. There's nothing worse than having a job that you hate just to pay bills and taxes, not because you want to, but because you have to. And while doing that for a few years can be a necessary phase you have to go through sometimes, doing that for the rest of your life is a wasted life. So growing up in a low middle class family, it's not like the money beliefs that were passed on to me were the most accurate. Because while some people were out there printing cash on demand, my parents would always complain about the price of bread or lettuce. I had to deprogram my mind from all the lies that society tried to feed me in order to then start thinking and behaving like the wealthy. I've been around wealthy people and broke people, and every single time what shocked me was that wealthy people almost never spoke about the price of things. The main thing you have to understand when you want to become wealthy, especially if like me, you come from a low middle class background, is that you need to stop trading time for dollars. Now of course, you don't get there overnight. It's something you have to work your way to. When you're just getting started in business, it's not realistic not to trade time for money, because you have to get your business off the ground, get some momentum, and no one is going to do it for you. But then, as you start seeing more and more success, it's essential to build systems that work for you instead of becoming the slave of your own business. The truth is, most small business owners are struggling financially, but on top of that, they have more of a job than a job. They have all the responsibility, they work extremely long hours, they pay high taxes. Think about the small restaurant near your house or the small bookshop downtown. Chances are, the business owner is overworked, drowned in taxes, bills and fees. That's the reality for a lot of small business owners. Truly wealthy people don't work for money. Instead, they have money work for them. They are able to do this through hiring and different investments. Now, if you found this video helpful, share it with a friend, and let's let's blow up this YouTube channel together to empower individuals from across the globe to become financially free.